And I'll bring myself. I'll be a pro magnet. I'll use my teeth. I'll bring the crow magnet.
Guys like John Steinbeck was an early influence on me because you don't even know how good he is. You just lose yourself in the prose and you forget that he's a writer. And that's the idea. He makes it look easy, like Joe DiMaggio. It's the difference between Willie Mays and Joe DiMaggio. Where Willie Mays always would let you know how difficult his catch was. His cap would fall off or he'd do somersaults and whatever. DiMaggio would make the same catch, but he would just glide to the ball and reach and just make it look easy, effortless, they say.
I debate whether the pittance I'm paid merits getting out of bed. I usually decide it doesn't, but yo, I get up anyway since I'm a professional, you all. Plus, at work I get free breakfast by eating the pastry when no one's looking. We go to the drug strip first since I'm into one-stop shopping and like not fucking around, wasting all afternoon. We need envelopes, blank tapes, pens, paper, and some other stuff so Sweeter can start sending out our demo tape and getting us gigs. Sweeter asked me if we have a publicity photo or a website or if we can burn CDs for the demo tape, but I just tell him to do the best with what he's got. You've got to be forceful with the help or they start getting ideas.
Yeah.
So, do people in the ULA like hanging out with other men naked in the gym? Do you like to do that?
Well, like, if they were gay, they probably would.
Alexander's right. This is a great country.
You know, I am merely the Master Professor's ghostwriter, your ghost poet. And I want you all to know that, like, whatever that motherfucker reads is my work, okay? But Frank Walsh will not be...
Does the student have a chance against him or what?
Well, sure.
The student didn't show up today. Where's the student today?
Even Grover would have a chance against him, you know?
From what I hear, Grover beat him last time.
The last time all Grover could do was complain about like Chicago, like how hot it was.
Yeah, but from what I hear, he did beat the math professor.
That was because
Jack Saunders has an erection!
excellent.
This is your last chance. Ready, set, the student, go!
Go student! Two stories. First one, self-affirmation. Dylan, Marianne, Brett, and Janie all lived in a two-bedroom apartment atop the largest garage they'd ever seen behind a house along a street in Marietta, Georgia. They all woke up at 5:59 a.m. precisely every morning when the computer in the living room came on and played an MP3 of Destiny Child's Survivor at top volume. Then they took turns taking cold showers for 30 seconds each. See, the four college students were spending their summer break working for the Southerly Company, selling graphic, heavy, and activity-filled encyclopedias for kids. They sold them door to door. The Southerly Company had trained them to go out as a group. It had also trained them to shout self-affirming statements during their cold 30-second shower. Marianne took the first shower that morning. She shouted, "I'm going to do great today. I'm going to sell a lot of books. I'm going to be great. People are going to be really happy when I stop by. I'm going to do great. I'm going to do great. I'm going to do great." Dylan took his shower next. He shouted, "Today is the day that the Lord has made. Today is the day that the Lord has made. He will rejoice and be glad in it. He will rejoice. Today is the day. Today is my day." Janie took the next shower. "People love me. People love to talk to me. People love these books. They'll be really happy when I show them the books. They're going to enjoy talking to me about them. People love me, love me, love me."
We will rejoice and be glad in him.
Brett took the last shower. He shouted, "Hulk smash, beauty humans! Hulk smash! Smash, beauty humans! Why won't they leave Hulk alone? Hulk smash!" Brett was a soft, red-headed, and bookish boy. He scrambled from his shower and into he and Dylan's bedroom with a towel wrapped around his waist. It was warmer in there. He pulled his clothes on fast, ready to get to the bagel shop they always went to for breakfast. When he got out to the living room, he found everyone sitting and looking grumpy, which was really weird since everyone was supposed to be peppy and excited by now. "Brett, what kind of self-affirming statements were those?" Dylan asked. "Are you feeling okay?" "Yeah, man. What's up with you?" Janie asked. "I thought they were funny," Brett said. "Maybe you shouldn't come water skiing with us this Sunday and stay home and think about how you're doing instead," Marianne suggested in her saccharine voice. "Yeah," Janie agreed. "You know, I'm really worried you could bring me down." The end.
Go back to school. You didn't learn anything in Iowa.
Trying to. too hard. For as long as Samantha had been able to call Jim her best friend, he had this shoebox on top of the bookcase in his bedroom painted pink that she would not take down or explain to her. She had long since told him about how she had changed the grades in her senior math teacher's gradebook in order to ensure that she had never gotten anything but an A in high school, despite the fact that she didn't understand calculus. She'd also told him about why she couldn't decide if she lost her virginity to the captain of the hockey team or the captain of the tennis team. He knew all that garbage, but he wouldn't show her what was in the box. Jim would only shrug. She liked Jim because he shrugged a lot. That is, he didn't talk so much and let her talk, which is why she liked him. One day, Samantha came over to his place because he was helping him to get ready for a birthday party he was putting on for his little sister. Jim really, really liked his little sister, but he could never think of enough things to do for her. She would come by the auto body shop where he worked, and he would repaint her bike with other paint they had in the gun, and she always liked that, but he wanted to come up with a new trick for her. But what? So the party had been Samantha's idea, but Jim was trying really hard to make it good. He'd announced they needed candy. He said he wanted to make a game of finding candy around his place for the kids coming over. It was a rare idea for Jim, so he left in his Omni to buy a bunch of cool candy at the cool candy store. While he was gone, Samantha could respect his privacy no longer. She got down the box and looked inside. She felt many twinges of many things, but not quite enough of any of them to stop her. When Jim came back, he found her sitting on his couch, the pink painted box in her lap, the top off, her hand inside, stroking the contents. Once they made contact, she took her hand out, and it was full of paper clips. Paper clips, Jim? It's just a bunch of paper clips, she said. Jim shrugged. I wanted to have a mystery. The end.
No. Are you ready?
Yes, I
Ready, go!
am. The thing that couldn't die.
Take off your pants! Take off your
Something ran across the television screen when no one was looking. The housewives, the 8th graders, taking the vow of abstinence. A creationist with a biological science textbook in one hand and a scientist with a Bible in the other. Thought they saw something and they wanted to buy it for a song and a dance, preferably from Walmart, China. From my sickbed cardboard rattled with tubes over the overpass, I thought I had seen everything in lieu of what was. I tried to remember another time when the police beat something to death with their moving violations, but it turned out I was wrong. Every stone was left unturned because there it was, fingerprints written all over its face. The thing that couldn't die. Take from one who never made out in the backseat of the Moonlight Drive-In on a summer Friday night underage when it dawned on me the Japanese physicists in black and white three-piece suits who covered up nuclear licorice only scratched the surface and melted a runaway iceberg, burning the ravioli in the process. Since what was those little men with big ideas had in their hands besides latex gloves was a thing that couldn't be killed for cocksure. Did it have a head in the sense we'd grasp in 3 dimensions? And if so, did that head have mouths to feed, far superior to an insider trader conflict of interest, or not? Or no one, and almost got me, or no one could make heads or tails, or else we're too scared to call 911 and tell the Federal Reserve to watch the skies for rubbers and STDs. I hate this paper. I want my computer. But the shadow of a doubt never crossed my mind. It was, despite the general theory of relativity, the thing that couldn't die, riding at the head of the motorcade, waving its stump behind bulletproof windshields, blowing sweet nothings to the crossing guards from various holes in the argument, without flinching because it didn't have eyes but sunglasses polarized. The thing that couldn't be killed changed shape, like you sometimes change socks and underwear. It was cited in church almost every Sunday, especially after a Saturday of heavy drinking and domestic violence come rain or shine, performing marriages between a man and his private property rights. Once a small child named Catfish reported to his parents as they sat down to the Last Supper at a nickel and dime that he'd seen the thing that couldn't care less, soiling the national pastime. But that didn't make a dent. They checked him for bite marks and went back to the repast. That's that.
Stop time!
Maybe more time. All right. Help me. also worked for the MFA program in any of the Ivy League schools. He really does.
Okay,
Right.
Brady Russell. And Frank Walsh. Hand for Frank Walsh.
Thank you. Oh my! I'm gonna be eating good for the next week. Thank you. USA.
Shake hands. Both of you shake hands.
Hey!
Hey, no problem. My pleasure.
I'm Sturzinger.
Oh man! Bring him here. I challenge Charles Bernstein to a poetic slam battle. So if anybody knows him, you go get him out of his freaking closet or whatever he's on, and you tell him to go up to the ULA blog site and accept the challenge or not.
I mean, Shakespeare's been appropriated by these.
Yeah, that's all.
He's been
in the water closet.
He's been appropriated by these snobs, but the Globe Theatre was in the Skid Row area outside of London. They were not allowed in the city limits. And across the street was bear baiting shows. That's what they were competing against. There was no indoor plumbing, and they said the Globe smelled of sweat and beer and urine, and it was just very crude and vulgar, and the audience was throwing oranges and peanuts at the actors while they spoke, and there was a give and take, and the actors were right there in front of the audience. It's not like theater today where everybody is polite, nobody reacts, and everybody's bourgeois, having paid $50 for their ticket, and they're afraid to shout at the.
That's because there's no communist.
I mean.
Yeah, we're all high for.
I mean, Shakespeare was big in the Wild West, and there's a famous story about Iago getting shot by a cowboy who thought the whole thing was for real.
Words go unheard, and urges can't purge themselves of the toxicity of this country. This land where humans once coexisted with Mother Earth's inhabitants, had morals and told stories to activate glory. Here, right here on the sand of the Chumash, who got snatched up and lashed by fear of the unknown, robes and groping for its own notion of divine intervention. Here, at the point of conception, where inner dimensions mesh like an ectomy web, threading through the constellations, tiny revelations undulating in synchronistic accordance.
I'd rather write about the way she makes me feel even when she's far away, and I can't rant that rain anymore. She sucked the venom out of me. And I know these things are unhealthy to carry, so I let it all go and strive to be better. I am torn in two. People see me and they want to hear that angry political poem. This is all I have to offer. Singing praises for her being such a complete woman. And today I was pushed to the edge of violence. I called her and her voice soothed me. And I asked myself, how could violence exist in such a world? No answer came back, but I knew the answer already. And if our leaders are doing wrong, it must be that they never felt such love. And if they had, they would ask themselves, how could violence exist in such a world?
Yeah.
He said he spent 5 years sitting on a bar stool and followed my food. And the owner would send him out to wash Venetian blinds or something, and he made money doing that. He lived here. When Bukowski was working at the post office, about to be fired for excessive absenteeism, actually for writing about working at the post office in Open City and the LA Free Press, he called Open City Open Pussy. John Martin, Black Sparrow Press, gave him an allowance to quit his job, stay at home, and write post office. Now, anybody can write a book if he has, one, money to live on while he writes it, and two, a publisher to send it to when he finishes writing it. A publisher who will publish it, keep it in print, and have it translated so it will sell overseas, and he will be a world writer and come into America through the back door, as Bukowski did. I would write a book about the post office while working at the post office, with no publisher to send it to when I finished writing it.
In 1955, when they held their 6th gallery reading, which now is considered one of the most famous readings in history, but there was just all their friends, basically, 100 people crammed into a room the size of the Medusa, where we're going to be at tomorrow. Yeah. Like,
well, everybody there wrote about it. Everybody that was there was a writer and wrote about it.
Kerouac was in the audience drinking blood in a six-pack.
Published Hell, and then this bookseller got arrested for obscenity.
Which was great for
That
sales.
was great for the Beats.
Yeah, Howl was debuted at that reading.
Right.
And they had a few people, it was actually a very brief reading.
Kerouac was chanting Baba.